So, ever wonder how local police are trying to build better relationships with the community? Well, we're looking at the core mission of Protect and Connect, which is a podcast created specifically to bridge the gap between law enforcement and the citizens they serve. First, let's introduce the hosts and their primary mission. You're going to be listening to Chief Joy Crosby and Lieutenant Stephen Timbs. Their core slogan really hits the nail on the head. They are protecting with purpose and connecting with people. Second, let's dive into the podcast's main themes. The show focuses entirely on fostering open, honest communication. They want to actively build trust and really strengthen the partnership between the police department and the community. Finally, it all comes down to the underlying philosophy driving the podcast, that public safety works best when we build it together. Because ultimately, real public safety is an absolute team effort rooted in open dialogue.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Protect and Connect. This is our very first podcast for the Tega Cay Police Department, and we are excited to launch this new initiative. We're here to protect with a purpose and connect with the people of Tega Cay, and I am your Chief of Police, Joey Crosby.
Hey, everyone. I am Stephen Timbs. I'm a lieutenant here at the Tega Cay Police Department.
You know, LT, you and I have been doing this for a relatively long time. I've been in this business now for 29 years in November, and you've been in it for 10 years, I believe, correct?
Yes, sir.
Policing has changed quite a bit and evolved quite a bit from you and I first started. And today, the police departments more than ever, we're having to communicate in a lot of different ways. We're having to communicate more with the evolution of social media and things like this podcast to try to communicate more with our public, to let our public know what's happening within their communities. Policing is not anymore just about enforcing the laws. It's really about building relationships. And public safety is the strongest when there is a partnership between the police department and the community that we serve. And that requires for us to build the trust with the community. And that trust is built through open and honest communications and for our community to understand why we do what we do. And that's exactly why we decided to do this podcast. And I want to thank you. This was really your initiative and your idea, and you've worked really hard for us to be able to launch this. So I want to thank you for giving us another opportunity for us to be able to reach our community members in a way that's non-traditional.
Well, I appreciate it, but I honestly think that your message needs to be heard beyond these walls because, like you said, you have all these years of experience, and with your leadership skills and everything like that, definitely needs to be out and about, I think. But I also agree with you. When people understand why we do what we do, trust grows. We have a strong, healthy partnership with our community. And that's, I think, the most effective weapon against crime.
You know, I couldn't agree with you more. Policing has certainly evolved more than just responding to calls or enforcing laws. We wear many hats these days where we're counselors, we're role models, we're experts in a lot of different fields or expected to be experts in a lot of different fields. And most people, they only meet us during their most stressful time of their lives, whether it be an emergency or a traffic stop or something has gone wrong. But they don't get to see the purpose, the training, the values that guide the decisions that we make every day. So today, that's what we're going to talk about is why we do what we do.
And for those who don't know, we have on the wall in our work bay a large image of our mission, vision, and values. That way our officers can see it every single day. We talk a lot about how those words must be more than words on the wall. They must be things we live by in our actions, attitude, effort, and emotions.
LT, that was one of the things when you were going through your promotional process from sergeant to lieutenant.
Mm-hmm.
That was one thing that you were very passionate about. And I remember during the interviewing process, you really discussing that those words, if they're just words on the wall, they don't mean anything. They have to be something that we are living through our actions each and every day. And so I think it's important for us any organization has got to have clarity and purpose. And for us in our organization, that starts with our vision statement. And if you will, the vision statement lets the officers know where we're going in the long term.
Right.
So you ever been in a car with kids before?
Yeah.
Okay. Time you leave the driveway, what's the first thing that you're asked?
We there yet?
Are we there yet? And if you don't tell them where you're going, how often do you get that question?
Every 30 seconds.
Well, it's the same way within the organization. We have to give our team a destination of where we're going. And that's what our vision is. And so our vision here in the department that's on that wall is that we are committed to being a trusted and respected police department. We're going to be working in partnership with the community to provide Tega Cay with the highest level of public service while carrying out ethical and effective law enforcement practices. So that's how we want to be seen by the people that we serve, by our community members.
Right.
But, you know, when as a chief, when I was coming up with this vision statement, I also felt it was very important for us to have an internal component of our vision statement. What can our teammates expect? And so we added this, or I added this into the vision statement, is that our vision internally is we want to focus and we want to build a positive and healthy work environment where our team members can grow professionally and contribute to the mission and this organization. And that's really important because we want our team members to know that they're valued here at the police department, because without them, we're not going to be successful. And, you know, and as a leader, if we don't take care of our people internally,
Right.
our people is not going to take care of our customers,
Absolutely.
which are our citizens, which then we're going to get more complaints. We're going to get people that are not satisfied. So, you know, we talk a lot about, and we work really hard to try to show our team members internally that we want to take care of them, we care about them, and in turn, through our vision, we will be a trusted and respected police department.
Absolutely. When officers feel supported and valued, it just shows how they serve the community.
And, you know, and that's so important because if they don't feel cared for and don't feel valued, and that comes in a variety of ways, then they're not going to give their best effort and they're not going to give their best to the community each and every day. So every day we talk about, well, that vision tells us long-term where we're going, but we also have to look out where we're going on a daily basis. And, you know, that comes from our mission statement. Mm-hmm. You know, and our mission here in the department, we developed this statement collaboratively. We had a group of team members that come together, work together to determine what it was they were trying to achieve each and every day.
And that was led by Lieutenant Lauren Galloway.
It certainly was.
Yep.
And so our mission here is to serve the community and our team. And again, there's both an internal and external component by demonstrating pride and doing the common things in an uncommon way. And the pride is an acronym for personally responsible and delivering excellence.
Yes, sir.
And what this means is that our everyday actions, the things that we're writing the reports, the taking the phone calls, the interactions on a traffic stop, those everyday things that we do, we want to treat people with respect. We want to pay attention to the detail. You know, things like our uniforms, our cars, and make sure those things look professional and neat. And we want to be professional in every interaction that we have, and we want to hold ourselves to a high standards. And I believe that it's those things that build trust with our community. It's not the big moments, it's those consistent moments.
And that's something we talk about a lot in the department. The public may see the big moments, but the real work of policing is done through consistent professional service every single day. And I think of it like dividends whenever you invest, because it's the consistency, and the earlier you start, the bigger the compounding effect. So public trust is not built in a single moment. It's built through thousands of small little interactions where we choose professionalism, respect, and service. Our mission tells us why we serve, and our standards reminds us how we serve.
You know, there's a famous leadership saying that says, and I think it's by Stephen Covey, pretty sure. And it talks about someone's emotional bank account, that you have to make deposits within that bank account because there's going to be a day that you're going to make a withdrawal.
Right, yeah.
And so John Gordon says there's rules without relationships equal rebellion.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And so you have to be able to make deposits, if you will, into the community's bank account to earn the trust. And internally, we have to make deposits with our team members to build that trust, because one day we're humans, we're going to make mistakes, and we're going to make a withdrawal out that bank account.
Well, this is the thing you always say, we can coach.
Yes, we can coach, we can mentor,
yep.
But we have to make those deposits so that way we can build that trust with our team, build that trust with our community. So when we do make a mistake, and mistakes are okay, then we have something to cover us in that bank account.
That's what I like on the SWAT team. It's you hire character, train skill. I love that saying.
Exactly. Well, and you know, and those higher character and skills are things, they're standards.
Yes.
You know,
Yep.
and so we have a standard here in our police department, and that standard is very simple. I'm a firm believer that your standard cannot be something that is, if you will, elaborate or outlandish. It needs to be something that folks can achieve each and every day, and they know where that bar is.
Mm-hmm.
And so for us here, I mean, our standard is very simple, and it's on the back doors. Officers leave and walk out the door every day, and there's nothing less than your best. And that means your attitude reflects how you approach the job and the people you serve. So you got to have the right attitude. Your actions reflect the professionalism and the decisions that you make. Your efforts reflect the commitment you bring to every call and every responsibility. And your emotions reflect the discipline required to remain calm and respectful and professional in all kinds of situations that we face. So attitude, actions, effort, and emotions. And, when you think about it, LT, those are the four things you can control
Right.
every day.
Absolutely.
I mean, we're in charge of those things each and every day as an individual person. So we're just asking our team to give their best effort in those four areas. And we talked earlier, mistakes are going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
As you notice in this standard, we don't talk about perfection around here.
Right.
Perfection is not achievable. Yeah, you cannot be perfect, but you can give your best effort. My daddy used to tell me, this was something that I got from my father. He was one of my biggest mentors. And he would tell me, if it's worth your time, it's worth your best effort. Do it right or don't do it at all.
Right.
So that's what we ask of our team members when they come in each and every day, when they pull into that gate, is simply, you're not asked to be perfect, but give your best effort.
Yep. Well, the badge gives us authority, but our attitude, actions, effort, and emotional discipline determine the trust that we earn from the community. And without the community, like you said, we have to have that relationship.
Well, and that's what this is all about. It's all about the partnership. For us to be successful, it's not about the police just doing what we want, because then let's go back to something that's on our cars, protect and serve. Well, who are we serving?
Right.
And that's a two-pronged approach, if you will. We're serving our community. So if we're not listening to them and listening to how they expect to be served, and we go off and we do just something totally different, then we're not gaining their trust.
Right.
We talk about it, and I've often used this analogy. You hear there's the book, The 5 Love Languages. Well, now there's the 5 love languages in the workplace. If I go home tonight, or if you're in a relationship and you go home tonight and you're talking with your spouse or your other half, and let's say you brought flowers home, but your spouse or your other half, all they want to hear is they're appreciated and loved. Right. Their words of affirmation. They're not a gift person, right?
Right.
While that person's appreciative,
it's not filling their love tank, as I say.
Right. It's not filling their cup.
How they want to be loved.
Right. It's the same thing in serving our community.
Right.
And we want to be precise with how we're serving our community. So how we've done that is by developing our 4 pillars. And so we reached out and we talked with our community members through a variety of different venues. We also did a SWOT analysis. For those that may not know, SWOT stands for Strengths, Weaknesses, Opportunities, and Threats. We discussed with our community what they thought we were doing well, where do we need to grow, what opportunities were there, and then what threats impact the department and the community. And from that, we heard from our community that they expected for us to serve them in 4 different ways. And our community has told us they expect for our police department to be active and visible and focused in these areas: protection of life, protection of property, traffic enforcement, and community engagement. Now, as you've seen, because we had a community meeting the other night, they don't want us to ignore the other areas.
Right.
But that's where the focus and the priority is for our community. When we talk about the protection of property, the protection of life, the very first one, people call us for help and they expect for us to come in their time of crisis, and they expect for us to come quickly, and they expect for us to have the skills and the competencies that we need to answer that call for service.
Right.
For the protection of property, people work hard for what they have, and they want us to make sure their property is protected by doing the business checks and making sure that we're visible and work to prevent crime and protect their home and their businesses. You know, the most popular one, and the one that we hear about quite a bit, is the traffic enforcement. And you know, that's not just about speeding, but also about folks that are at the crosswalks trying to utilize our trail system and our sidewalks. Our pedestrians want to feel safer on the roadways.
Yep.
So it's tools and things that we use to make sure that we keep our roadways safer and prevent crashes, and to help our community feel safe as they're utilizing the trails and the crosswalks and things. And then one thing that we really try to do a lot here is community engagement.
Yeah.
I mean, we just got through with one this morning.
Cocoa with Popo.
That's right.
Or walk and roll to school. Yep.
Yeah, over in the Memorial Gardens, where we had a lot of the kids walk into school this morning. We were able to interact with them and their parents. And it's just a great opportunity for the kids to see us beyond the police badge. You know, we have several community events coming up here very soon. I think next Saturday on the 14th, we're having the e-bike safety event. We're going to talk about e-bikes and try to prevent any type of problems occurring as it starts to get warmer and people are going to be out
Which
and
is
about.
a nationwide issue right now, e-bikes.
A lot of communities are facing that problem.
What I think is great about that, Chief, is you give the supervisors and officers the discretion to work within those 4 pillars on how their shift is going to accomplish the mission for those 4 pillars. Like, you know, if you have 4 officers and one focus on each one, or each one focuses on all 4 of them, I think that's fantastic, because you don't see that in leadership these days with agencies. And sorry, I got a little sidetracked there, but I just had to throw that in there.
You're correct. I mean, our philosophy here is that we want to empower our folks and empower our sergeants to run their shifts. But as we talk about, empowerment has responsibilities.
Perfect.
And their responsibility is ensuring that when they go home every day, that we have met those 4 pillars in serving our community. Because if we don't, then our community is not going to feel like we've done a good job.
Right.
Through those 4 pillars, I want their standard of achieving those 4 pillars to be the standard, nothing less than their best.
Absolutely.
I want their best effort. I want them, you know, reading the ordinances and how they're interacting with the people. Being data driven. You know, something that we talk about, we use a lot around here, is we don't just go out and run radar or watch this business or do a business check based on just random things.
Right.
We're looking at trends. We're looking at data that we collect every month. And so we want that standard to achieve those 4 pillars and look at our mission every day. And so what we do is, and we encourage our officers every day to say, did I meet that mission today? And then long term, that means we're going to achieve our vision.
Well, TK is unique, and you know, obviously I love this city. I've been here for 10 years, and they deserve nothing less than our best every single day.
You know, we have a great community. They support us really well. We talk often around here. We get emails regularly from citizens just being appreciative of the work that the officers doing. And we have a wonderful team of officers. And
they care so much.
Yeah.
Man.
That's something that I don't think our community sees. They don't have the opportunity. It's not that they can't. They don't have the opportunity to see that how much our officers care. You know, I think if our community knew how much they go above and beyond to take care of people, the small things. Right. Again, that attention to detail that we talk about, that they really go above and beyond, and they have a true passion to serve this community. You know, one of the things that you and Lieutenant Bolin spearheaded as a project that we have on our wall is talk about your why, because we believe that you have to be connected with that why. You have to know why you're doing this job. If you're just coming to do this job for a paycheck, you're not going to do it the right way.
Exactly.
You're not going to serve the community. You're not going to meet the standards. You're not going to meet the mission so we can meet the vision. And so we encourage our officers to really, and our team members, to really dig in and examine, why do you do this job? And so they're reminded every day when they walk out the door, and it's on that wall there.
Yep. And if people come in and they do the tour of the police department, they'll be able to see everything that we're talking about, including the why board. And, officers get vulnerable on that board because, it's like my why is I'm the person who I needed as a child. And I like to provide that safety to other people. And, a lot of our officers are the exact same way. They're very vulnerable whenever it comes to their why.
Oh, when you read that board, I mean, there's some very deep emotional moments there that people are connected with why they do. But, that's what makes this team so special.
Exactly. Yep.
Is that people are connected, and this is a calling for them. This is not just something they're doing just to do. We truly have a team of dedicated people in this organization that strive to make a difference in this community.
Yep.
And when they don't achieve that goal, they hurt.
Yeah.
When they hear that the community is not satisfied, they hurt. And that's a different topic for a different day.
Yeah. Well, we can dive in.
Talk about how Facebook influences us and our recruiting and retention and things like that, and social media. But these officers see if they're not meeting that goal. And if you think about this, which is very unique, I think, we talk about the motto protect and serve.
Mm-hmm.
We have servant hearts. Every individual in this building has a servant's heart. They got into this because they want to serve people. So when we don't meet that benchmark, it impacts us.
Yep.
It's not something that we like because we always want to give more.
Right. Well, let's transition here. You do what you have called a leadership nugget to command staff on some of our messaging stuff. And it's really neat because usually it's articles and stuff for us to really think about. So I wanted to bring that to you guys. So Chief, as we wrap up today's episode, let's start finishing each episode with what we call the leadership nugget.
Sure.
And take us away.
Yeah. So as you said, I try to share leadership nuggets with the team, especially the command staff members, for them to have things to think about. So this is an opportunity for us to give a message to the community for them to think about. And I think first and foremost, today's leadership nugget has two parts to it, really.
Okay.
The first part is in honor of someone that had a great impact on this organization and on our city. And, we tell this story about Lieutenant Lauren Galloway and the impact that she had on us all. And Lauren always had a kind word. She always had a message for us. And for those that have heard me speak before about Lauren, she always used to tell us something. And sometimes it would just be an email when we needed to hear it. But she would often tell us, be the changes you want to see in the world. And that message has really resonated with us. It's on our wall as you go out of the back door of the police department to remind us every day that we want to be the change in the world and encourage our team members to be the change in the community that we want to see. And so we do that through, and I encourage our community to do that through another powerful leadership message that there is out there. And that message is, people don't care what you know, and they don't care what you say until they know that you care.
Wow.
And as leaders, if we want to engage with individuals, and if we all agree with what we've talked about here today, that for us to be successful, then we have to develop relationships and we have to have partnerships. And for us to have relationships and partnerships, we got to show individuals that we care. We may not always like the individual that we're dealing with, but we certainly got to show them that we care for us to be successful.
Man, that's powerful. I like that. I like that a lot. And it's also a great reminder that leadership always starts with the people.
It is. And if we have that mindset as leaders, and, remember that leadership is not about just your rank or what title you have in the community. We can all be leaders.
Right.
And so it starts with how we serve both our team and our community. And so, LT, as we close today's podcast, I really want to leave people with this last thought, and that policing and this community that we're trying to build is ultimately about the people. It's about the protection of life and the protection of property and keeping our roads safe. And Most importantly, it's about building strong relationships with the community that I serve. We talked about our mission is to serve the community, and then also our team, and then our standard of holding ourselves to that everyday standard of nothing less than our best. And we're going to give you our best in our attitude, our actions, our effort, and our emotions. And these principles, they guide us on how we serve, and they're reflected in our 4 pillars that shape our work that we do for our community and protecting the life and the property and the traffic enforcement and the community engagement. But LT, I have to tell you that none of this work is possible without the team that we have at the Tega Cay Police Department.
Absolutely.
I cannot say enough about the men and women that work for this organization. They're first-class individuals. They strive to do the best that they can. They always want to be better, and they always want to serve this community. And then I also have to thank our community. You've been wonderful to us, and we appreciate your support. And know that we want to be partners with you, because in this final thought, remember this, that public safety is strongest when the police department and the community, we work together. So we look forward to working with you over this next year and the years to come. And we look forward to connecting with you on our next podcast.